total since its inception. Well, the newest addition to the Cincinnati Zoo and Botanical Garden now has a name. This is Rosie, and she is a cheetah cub that was brought to the zoo from Oregon. The zoo says Rosie means rose in Swahili, a nod to one of the languages spoken in her native land, as well as the botanical garden in her backyard as she grows up at the zoo. Priya Smith lives in Tennessee and is your typical 10-year-old. If you ask her, she'll tell you she enjoys playing softball, hanging out with her little sister, but she also likes helping people, which is why it was no surprise that she sprang to action to help save her 4th grade teacher. The class was eating outside for field day when Mr. Buteri took a bite of a hamburger and started choking. Priya says panic set in for the students, but she did not hesitate to grab his key and run inside the building to get help.
I just wasn't thinking, I didn't have any second thoughts, and just yanked it off of him and got into the building.
I tell my kids I love them all the time, and I told her immediately, I love you, thank you, and I appreciate you and everything, but I was like, it's got to go beyond it.
Priya was awarded by the Sheriff's Office for her act of bravery.
Hey, if I was going to choke right now, could you save me?
No, I unfortunately do not know
Heimlich?
the Heimlich maneuver, no. But that's
Would you
actually
be fast enough to find somebody, though, who might? At least
Sure, yeah. I mean, we got our studio tech right there. He's within 15 feet of me.
That's good. That's good that she was able to think on her feet like that, because a lot of people just freeze up in any kind of tense situation, so kudos to her.
Absolutely.
And I would say our forecast is, I don't know, kudos to our forecast, I don't know. It's going to look pretty nice, but one cool thing is that the sky's going to be clear tonight, finally. So we may have missed the lunar eclipse, at least a lot of us did, because it was pretty cloudy. But tonight there might be something cool to see. You might be able to see Jupiter and Mars in conjunction right next to each other. And it won't look like that, unfortunately. Wouldn't that be cool? But it'll look more like this. And you can see those two, it'll look like two stars right by each other. And then also, not too far apart, down to the bottom left, you'll see Venus, and then you'll see Saturn up at the top right. So it'll be a pretty cool thing to see. It wasn't too long ago where Jupiter and Venus were right next to each other, but now it's Jupiter and Mars. And those should be pretty easy to see. One, because Jupiter is a huge planet, and two, Mars is pretty close. Not as bright as Venus, but you can still see it, and even has a little bare red tint to it if you look real closely. And you should be able to see it, because right now we're looking at some mostly clear skies, certainly no rain. You have to head up north, either to northern Indiana or parts of Michigan, to actually see some showers. And do you know Canada is actually south of Detroit? A lot of people don't know that. Here's an interesting fact for you. But across the Midwest, too, you're looking at some mostly clear skies. There are some clouds up there, and we'll probably still see some passing clouds overnight, but generally looking at some clear skies. And we were a little bit warmer today. Humidity was fairly low. Cold front moved through a day or so ago, so that's why it's been a little bit below average. But actually today was closer to average, and as we move into tomorrow, the temperature is going to continue to rise. It's not a lot warmer than this time yesterday, only about 3 degrees, but we will be into the 80s tomorrow. Right now we're in the low 60s. Doesn't look like anyone's quite in the 50s yet, but we're close to it. Eaton's at 60 degrees at least. And as we move into the overnight hours, we will drop into the 50s. So cool, maybe even a little cooler than average in a few places, but tomorrow will be warmer. We'll be up into the 80s tomorrow. But at least the low 80s. It's still technically above average, but still a little bit warmer. Lots of sunshine, so the weather should be great. If you didn't go out on your hog today, you should go out tomorrow, because it should be fantastic. And then your Memorial Day forecast looks pretty pleasant as well, with temperatures getting into the upper 80s. Now the Futurecast shows mostly clear skies. It also shows the chance for a little bit of fog in some places in the morning, so just keep that in mind. I think it'll be for a majority of us won't have the fog, but we could see a little bit of patchy fog across some places anyway. And then as we move into the afternoon on Sunday, here's a look at 4 p.m., looking at some clear skies, and then Monday morning, Monday afternoon, looking at clear skies as well, but that temperature is climbing to the upper 80s on Monday, and I think we're going to avoid the 90s. We were looking at potentially getting there Tuesday and Wednesday, at least in Dayton, but some places probably will reach the 90s, but I think we're just going to be a little bit too cool to reach the 90s. I mean, a 1 degree difference, what difference does that make? But regardless, it will be warm for a lot of the week. Then another weaker cold front comes through Thursday, enough to drop our temperature down a little bit and bring us a chance for showers on Thursday as well.
All right, thank you, Robert. And it's been 3 years since deadly tornadoes hit the Miami Valley Memorial Day weekend. Tornado sirens go off when these storms hit. Our I-team found out some communities do not have these sirens. This has us asking community leaders why.
This sale is